Hello and welcome. I'm Arathix, and this week I have been continuing my work on putting together minifigures from previous sets that I had when I was a kid, and just gathering as many that I can find. I've been delving deep into my Lego boxes. I have one big box of unsorted parts. I pulled out everything I could from there. I've still been using my big box of minifigure parts. I've tried sorting them a little bit more. I have sort of like the basic um, these like worker outfits. I have another one with emergency services and more of the generic ones. But these are all the characters that I've managed to put together this week. I traded a few Lord of the Rings figures that I found for some old pieces that my brother had from when he was a kid and he used to steal my Lego. But without any further ado, let's jump into having a look at each one of these minifigures. Right, so we'll kick this off with some Alpha Team. First off, we have Flex. Now, he is a very happy, smiley fella with one orange arm, with the orange printing. I actually think that, considering when they came out, Alpha Team's printing is pretty good. He's in not too bad condition, all things considered. He was one of the ones that his head my brother had, and I traded a Knight of the Rohirrim to get that one back. And then next we have Cam. She has red hair, glasses. I don't know if you can see this, you can see she's got some scratches on the torso. Not in the best condition. Oh, there you go. Really not in the best condition at all. I'll probably order a replacement for her. Neither of these two have their original legs, which has a little bit of printing on them. I have not been able to locate them at all, but I really like Alpha Team and I wanted to have something. I will eventually order replacement parts for them, but glad to have them regardless. Next up, we have Exoforce and we have Rio. Not the most exciting of the Exoforce members. I think he came with one of the gate sets, and he had like a mini mech. He didn't have like a proper big one. But he, again, another head that I got back from my brother. I really like Exoforce. I like the sort of anime style hair. I'm not sure about the eyes. Like, I think they look cool on their own, but when you mix them with other Lego minifigures, they can look a bit too different. But I do really like these hair pieces, and I look forward to putting back together all of them. I'll probably have to order some of them. Next up, we have Knight's Kingdom, and I finally managed to get the crown. Turns out my brother had it, the crown for King Leo of the Knight's Kingdom 1. Great to have the king back. Then moving on for some more less specific characters, we have two minifigures from Extreme Stunts. These are the original faces, according to Bricklink, that they had back when I was a kid. I honestly can't remember that far back, so I'll just have to take the Bricklink's word for it. Next up, we have quite a lot of pirates themes, different factions, but I've managed to put together quite a few pirates. So we have this fella whose face has seen much better days. It's fading quite a bit. We have this fellow. We have another fellow with one eye. And this fellow with a tattoo of an anchor on his chest. Let's make them a bit more central. So I think the one I put together this guy from memory. I have for some reason very distinct memories of him, but the other three I did have to look up to remember exactly what faces and color legs that they had. Then we have this Imperial soldier, all by his lonesome. I do have another one, but couldn't find all the pieces for him, so alone this man stands. And then I managed to put together two islanders. One, I believe, is the King Kahua, I want to say his name is, but minus the mask. He just, this is like his sort of casual outfit, when he's not, in some sort of ceremony or anything like that. And then the lady islander as well. So they have an important part to play in the storyline of Bob, so it's nice to have them. Next up, we have some rescue team. Or rescue. Display their back first, because if any of you had these sets when you was younger, then you'll recognise the logo on their back. I realise that this fellow right here, his torso is quite discoloured. I assure you I've scrubbed him as much as I possibly can without taking the actual printing off itself, and he's very yellow. I'm not entirely sure if I can use the bleach method without ruining the printing. I'll have to look further into it because I've not bleached Lego to get it back to white before. But this guy on the right is held up a lot better. He's looking a lot more white, and after a good polish he's looking nice and fresh. Next up we have two of the original Ninjago ninjas. So we have Kai and Zane. Before they were given any sort of major personality, they were your sort of generic ninjas. So, you know, just an angry face. I think this one, Kai has a scar across his face. They don't appear to be teenagers, as they are in like the Ninjago movie. This guy's head is very much stuck in there to the hat, so I can't show that. And there's a little bit left on you that I didn't quite get. There you go. So two of the old school Ninjago figures. I do like where Ninjago has come, you know, to compare Kai and Kai. You can see how far the Ninjago sets have come in just their creativity. So we'll pop him back there, pop him off to one side. Next up we have quite a few Star Wars figures. Most of these I just sort of found loose. I did put together this RA7 protocol droid. He was missing his head, located that. Then we have a First Order Snowtrooper. He was missing his helmet, and I found that. Then a few figures that I just sort of found loose and about. So I have a Rey. Whoops. Knock over Flex in the back there. So we have a Rey. We have Finn in his Stormtrooper outfit. Finn in normal clothes. Then we have an Imperial pilot. Tusken Raider. With the custom molded head. I do have some of the old school ones as well that if I can find all the pieces for, I will put them together as well. And we'll pop you off to one side. We have the clone pilot, who I found sitting in my clone dropship with the ATOT Walker, which is still kind of intact. It's missing a couple of pieces, but it's packed away in a box. I never unpacked it when I moved into this house. But then I have a BB-8, which I believe is from the big Millennium Falcon UCS set. I do like that little cute BB-8. So that's all the Star Wars minifigures. Then I have this skeleton, which I managed to put back together. He's seen better days. Quite discolored. He has one arm, which is not very discolored. His face is fading a little bit. So again, probably replace parts. But I mean, he's a skeleton, so if you put him in the right place, he can look like an old skeleton that's been there for quite a long time. You know, maybe bleached by the sun. Then we have, and back into characters, one that's also very important to the storyline of Bob is Dr. Cyber from the Time Twisters or Time Cruisers, depending on what region you're from. He is responsible for all time travel for Bob, and so combined with Steve, the wizard, he controls space, he controls time. They ripped open wormholes and thus licensed sets and stories from other universes were able to converge into this one. So pop Steve back over with Bob. Then we have from the studio's theme, the director. So he has his little directing clapperboard in the back and lets you know who he is. Then we have a couple more adventure characters. So we have Dr. Charles Lightning, and we have Mike. Mike's a fairly simple character. Dr. Charles Lightning has obviously a much more impressive name. Kind of reminds me of, you know, like the classic Lost World stories. I think it's Dr. John Challenger or something. That kind of name, you know, very old school sort of adventurer, explorer type. Good to have more than just Johnny Thunder, so he has some pals for his journey. And then I found a couple of Lego movie characters. So I have Emmett with his robot disguise face. And I have Wildstyle in her Benny's spaceship uniform. I'm not entirely sure how I would explain the Lego Movie and this. I mean, it would just be a wormhole probably that's converging the worlds, but it's still nice to have them. I do really enjoy the Lego Movie. And then the last figure I have is just a generic one, but I really love the old school motorcycles. So I put together this old school police officer to ride on the motorcycle. It's not exact. There should be some printed pieces that say police on the side. I can't find them, and then I think it should be a yellow one on the front, and then I need to put a red one on the back as well. But I just genuinely love these old motorcycles so much. I don't know. I can't tell you exactly why. There's something just kind of charming about them. They're very small, especially compared to like your modern motorcycles. Like I've got a dirt bike here, which is quite big compared to this smaller motorcycle. I think it suits a police motorcycle very well. I mean, maybe not like a very high speed one, but you know, your what do they call them when you have like a very important person going somewhere and they've got an escort? There's a specific name for it. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But that is pretty much all of the figures that I found in this past week. It is a lot more effort than it might seem. I took apart a lot of these minifigures as a kid, you know, pulled their arms and their legs off, so searching for the pieces and having moved so many times. And, you know, my brothers took some of my Lego when I was a kid. I don't know if they lost it, but I don't seem to have gotten it back. So it has been challenging, especially for some of the sets where, you know, you don't necessarily know exactly what faces they had and you have to do a little bit of research. But I will keep going on. I don't think I'm going to get too many specific characters anymore. I think next time I'm going to focus on just putting together some generic citizens, like put the emergency services people together, so have some police officers, some firefighters, and some doctors. You know, have the general workers, have some, you know, general people, just so that when I make the streets, I can populate them with, you know, normal people. Because, you know, as much as they're, you know, it might create some funny scenes to have some clone troopers walking down Main Street. You know, they're kind of at war with Star Wars, so maybe a battle scene in the middle of the city. That would be quite cool. But you know, you do need your normal people as well, just to give it that feeling of, you know, it is a living city with normal people in it. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this update on minifigures. Next week I should hopefully get my Lego Ninjago City Gardens. I ordered it, so hopefully that will arrive. I can build that, put that together. I'll also be buying my tables either next week or the week after, so I'll be able to set up a proper display, put up my Marvel buildings, maybe put the Ninjago City Gardens across the street. For now, I will find a better way of incorporating it, but yeah, more tables, hopefully some roads, Ninjago City Gardens, some exciting stuff on the horizon. So thank you very much for joining me. Please stay tuned for more videos, and yeah, stay cool, keep building, and see you next time.